internet, I've decided to go ahead and make my first ever book haul video. Usually I don't have much of a reason to do a kind of video like this because most of my reading material comes from the library, but in the last few weeks and months I've actually made a few purchases and even gotten a few winnings that I wanted to go ahead and share with you guys. First up is the new paperback edition of An Abundance of Katherines by John Green. This is the cover that won the Abundance of Covers contest that Penguin Teen sponsored. This was done by Sarah Turbin. I think it's fantastic. It's really clean. It's really simple. I love how she incorporated the footnotes. That is a running thing in the book, and for those of you who've never read this one, it's John Green's least serious and nerdiest novel by far. It's about Colin, a former child prodigy who has been dumped 19 times by girls named Katherine. And on a post-high school road trip with his best friend, he's trying to come up with a mathematical equation to explain why. So it's a really fun one, definitely nerdy. Again, there's a lot of math involved, but even a liberal arts girl like me was able to understand it. So if you haven't read this one before, check it out. Next, I also got Please Ignore Vera Dietz by A.S. King. It's just a fantastic story. This was the first book I read by her, and it was constantly teaching me things about myself while I was reading it that I didn't realize I didn't know before. So it's about a girl named Vera who is in love with her best friend Charlie and pretty much always has been, and when he dies under really mysterious circumstances, no one realizes that she actually knows a lot more about things than she lets on. It becomes a question of not just will she step out to clear his name, but does she even want to? She just has an incredible gift with words. So again, Please Ignore Vera Dietz by A.S. King. If it's not on your to-read list, you need to make sure that it gets there. Third up is The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Chbosky. I've actually read this book once before, and I really wanted to take the time to reread it before the movie comes out. Please, please, if you're going to see the movie, make sure you read the book first. It's about a boy named Charlie, and it's an epistolary novel. He's writing letters to an anonymous person, and he's talking all about his friends and his family during his freshman year of high school. I didn't get to soak in as much of this book as I wanted to the first time I read it because I had other assignments and things, but it's definitely a good book. I'm so excited to get to read it again, and I hope that the movie does it justice. So again, Perks of Being a Wallflower by Chbosky. Next book I'm about to talk about was a bit of a guilty pleasure purchase, but it was such a good deal that I couldn't pass it up. And it's 52 Reasons to Hate My Father. Not only did you get the book, but you also got a bookmark with scenes from the trailer on it, which is really fun, and you could have it autographed and personalized. So mine says, to Monica, embrace your inner heiress, and I think the fantastic part here is not only do you get a great book, but you get some seriously great accessories. This is a story about Lexington Larrabee, who on her 18th birthday, instead of getting the $25 million check for her trust fund that she's expecting from her father, instead she gets a list of 52 low-paying jobs that she has to complete within the year. So it's a fun read. I'm definitely going to be doing a video about this one in the future, and it's just a great curl up and you laugh, you cry, it's a little bit of everything. Meg Cabot blurbed it, and it definitely has that sort of Meg Cabot vibe. So this was a bit of a guilty pleasure purchase, but so worth it in my mind. I also made a few purchases for my Nook recently. There were a bunch of ebooks that had really great deals going on in the month of August, so I went ahead and got The Mockingbirds by Daisy Whitney, her debut novel. If you loved Speak by Laurie Halse Anderson, you absolutely need to check out The Mockingbirds. It's about a girl who's raped at her private school and the student sort of justice system to try to make sure that this guy doesn't get away with it. There's also Paranormalcy by Kiersten White. I have never read this book. I don't know a whole lot about it, but the students at my school swear by it, say it's a must-read, so I'm going to trust them on it and give it a chance. I'm really excited. I also got Matched by Condie, the first book in the Matched trilogy. I really loved this first book. The second one, I don't know, but the third one's coming out in a few months. So Matched is an incredible romantic dystopian novel, and I love the world building that went on in that. And finally, I also got City of Bones by Cassandra Clare, which is the first book in her Mortal Instruments series. So those were my purchases of late. I was also lucky enough to win a few books. The first one I got was from Random Buzzers, the teen division of Random House, and it's Flirting in Italian by Lauren Henderson. A girl named Violet is obsessed with this painting that was done hundreds of years ago, except the girl in the painting looks exactly like her. So she convinces her mom to let her go to Italy, and she ends up going with a few friends to try to learn more about this painting, and chaos ensues. And as someone who took art history classes when I studied abroad in Italy, I am definitely excited to see what this book is all about. Also, through the This Is Teen Facebook page, I was lucky enough to win a copy of Forever by Maggie Stiefvater. Not only did I win the book, but I was lucky enough to find out that it's an autographed copy. But I've never actually read the Shiver trilogy. It's been on my list, I've always been meaning to, and now I finally have the perfect excuse to go ahead and check those books out. One thing in the design aspect of this book is I think the cover is beautiful and simplistic, and it's got this mauve theme, and then if you go and look on the inside, the text is printed in that same color. So I am very excited to get into this series, and hopefully sooner rather than later I'll get to enjoy my copy of the third book in the trilogy. So that is my book haul. I am excited that I've finally gotten to do one of these. If you guys have gotten any good purchases or winnings lately, tell me about them below. I'm always interested to see what other people are getting. And that's it for me for now, Internet. Take care. Bye-bye.